Before we get started on this week's 49er Goldcast, I just want to give you guys a heads up that Louis Bartone and myself are calling in. We're calling in today, so the sound's going to be a little bit different. We also want to remind everyone that starting January, after the 49ers season ends, the Goldcast will be rebranding and opening to be covering both the Warriors and the Giants. We're going all year round. All the San Francisco teams, Bay Area teams, we're going to be covering, like I said, emphasis on 49ers. Now we're going over to Warriors and Giants, so be on the lookout for that. There'll be more changes coming to the Facebook page, to the Twitter page. You will be seeing an expanding of the 49er Goldcast to include all of our beloved San Francisco teams. More on that later in the year as we head towards the end. And, so here we go. Let's get started.
Welcome to another edition of the 49er Goldcast. San Francisco, are you ready?
Boom! I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis I, baby.
And our Los Angeles co-host,
Louis B.
And our esteemed co-host,
Old Man Davis.
Boom! There we go. We're back in the place to be. 49 Goldcast, live and direct. 49ers lose for, it feels like the millionth time. It feels like the millionth time. Final score. This one was a close one. It was 24-31 in favor of the Dolphins. Dolphins do not cover on Vegas, by the way. They don't cover. That was nice. That was just a little bit. I feel like the offense is getting better, and I feel like Kaep is slowly but surely thriving more and more with that strong offensive line and a lot of the read option and the Chip Kelly offensive philosophy. But I feel like the defense is pretty stagnant. Raymond, would you agree with that statement?
Well, absolutely. Like we've been talking about this whole year. I mean, ever since I'd say week 2, you think it was either week 1 or week 2, they're down half their starters, more than half their starters. Eric Reed went down. Not it. I wish. Eric Reed went down a week ago with a torn bicep muscle, so he is gone for the year. Not that he was. This is the last remaining Pro Bowler that was on the team from the Jim Harbaugh era, which had 8 Pro Bowlers or 7 Pro Bowlers on that defensive squad. From that to 1, and now he's gone. So you have 6 starters gone from the starting lineup. Actually, I take it back. Ahmad Brooks is also a former Pro Bowler from that the Vic Fangio defense, who's still there. He just doesn't have a lot of juice in the tank left these days. Got half a sack today, split with Nick Bellore. But, I mean, Shane Scove went down today. He didn't come back. I mean, every single week somebody goes down, and this team just cannot stay healthy. So I just wonder – I know that they never talk about this during the offseason, but I would really like the 49ers to evaluate the strength and conditioning staff, because the last few years have had a series of periodic injuries. We saw that with Jim Tonsula's team. We saw that in the last season of Jim Harbaugh. And now we have our 3rd year in a row under Chip Kelly. However, the defense did hold another team under 100 yards rushing for the 2nd straight week. So if there is a highlight to mark in the defensive slot, it is on that side. The only problem is there's no pass rush. And eventually, when you don't have a pass rush, the pass rush supports your secondary. It usually never works the other way around. Your front 7, it helps to make your secondary look better, because the rules do not favor the secondary. Thus, the secondary is, next to quarterback, the 2nd hardest position to play. And even though the 49ers pass defense is kind of middle of the road in the rankings, like 14th, 15th, they probably dropped a little bit this week because Ryan Tannehill had a really good day passing efficiently, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Colin Kaepernick was really good too. The only problem is he still needs to lead his receivers on some of his throws. They're still behind those that won to Torrey Smith late in the 4th quarter that should have been led. That would have been a much better pass. The running game for the 49ers is really good, although Kaepernick tends to run better than Hyde does. He had 113 yards today. The Niners are still a top 10 offense in terms of rushing, and the passing game has been excellent the last couple weeks. The only problem is, like you said, brother, it's the defense. There's no pass rush, and as a result, the secondary just gets worn out, and they're just going to continue to give up big plays like we saw today. I think Antoine Bethea is someone you definitely part ways with coming next season. He's old. He's a former 3-time Pro Bowler, not a current Pro Bowler, and you can tell by the lack of speed. He's just always out of position, or if he's in position, he's getting burned, and he's a total liability out there.
Yeah.
But he's all they've got. So unfortunately, that's just what we got. Jaquaski Tartt's just a second-year man who had limited play last year, still has limited play this year, so he's just quite not there yet.
So going back, Louis, you said before, even at the start of the season, that you thought Colin Kaepernick could thrive under the Chip Kelly system, and it seems like he is. Let me ask you, this isn't a question we talk about very often on the Goldcast. Do you think Cap is worthy of a second look on fantasy?
Absolutely. Colin Kaepernick, I wouldn't even say is he worth a second look. He needs to be picked up, and he could be started. Like, he needs to be started in leagues.
Like if you're kind of hurting, right, you could throw him in your fantasy.
Oh yeah. We'll put it this way. So I have Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott, but if I wasn't able to pick up Dak Prescott, who is amazing, if I wasn't able to pick him up, I would be picking up Kaepernick. Honestly, I would have done better this week if I had Kaepernick in there. He put up like 31 this week in our league. Like, I recommend 100% that anyone out there that is hurting at quarterback, go. Even if you have like a quarterback that's like decent, like a top, in the ladder of the top 10 or maybe like a top 12, I'd go pick him up if he's on waivers, man. Because every week he has such a baseline of, he's going to get probably 50 rushing yards. He's going to throw at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. Like, he has such a baseline with that offense.
Yeah, the last few weeks he probably put up a lot of points. He had over 100 today. He had 3 touchdowns today.
Golly, man.
And almost 300 yards. He completed 63% of his passes. For Colin Kaepernick, that's good. Obviously, you're not once you get into the high 60s, low 70s, then you're in Aaron Rodgers, Brady, and Drew Brees territory. Mm-hmm. But 63 for Colin Kaepernick is really good, and you can see he's thriving in this. This offense is much better suited for him, I feel like, because it still allows him that freedom to run, which we saw was very much Harbaugh's coaching wanted him to refrain from that, and we saw that Colin Kaepernick felt very limited in his game under that, whereas here it seems like he has free reign to do that, where he said, hey, if it's not there, go downfield. So I like to see that. That's clearly where he thrives. He actually throws even better when he's outside of the pocket, just because he can see the field better. So I think when you do those boots, those waggles, and those play action passes, he's really good at that too, because he's always a threat to run. That's why his running efficiency is better than Carlos Hyde, because people are betting on him to pass, to beat him. But when that's not there, he can still run, and he's a smart runner. He's not reckless like Cam Newton or RG3. Thank God. So he's able to be. Yeah. He's more durable that way. He lasts longer.
Now, despite Kaepernick on the rise, I want Old Man Davis to answer this first, and then I'll throw it to the rest of the cast. Do we still draft a quarterback to compete with Cap, Old Man Davis, in the draft next year?
I said this weeks in the past, and I continue to say it here on the Goldcast in Week 12. The 49ers pick a quarterback at some point of the 17th draft. I've been talking to Fidel Castro. He said he'd be more than willing to take on number 7 to play for the National Cuba Refugees.
Like they want to pick up the contract?
They have free education and free universal health care. And certainly they can pick up a guy like number 7 to play for their team. As far as the 49ers, we need a quarterback. I cannot continue. I don't know how much more time I have here on the Goldcast. We need to win ball games, and we need a quarterback.
There it is.
Yeah, I do gotta say, it's just so amazing. Like at the end of the day, like, and I know we gotta break things down. Like they suck so bad, so I'm happy. Trust me, but I gotta say, it's so amazing seeing you guys drop 10 straight. But
Record winning
record too.
Franchise record, unbelievable.
Dallas wins 10 straight for the first time
You
ever.
lose 10 straight.
What a weekend.
So I gotta say, I think that I do think that they should take a QB. I don't think they should take a first round.
Again.
I don't think they should take a first round QB. I mean, dude, like we've seen it. Kaep has played well. Like I don't think that Kaep is the type of I think part of it too that we have to realize is that they're down. Like you guys are down so much most of the game, so Kaep is kind of airing it out. So I'd want to see what he's gonna. I'd want to see what he does to kind of hold on to a lead. I think it'd be different. I think he's kind of playing with that like kind of like kid mentality, like backyard mentality of like, well, I'm just gonna go and have fun and go play the game. I think that's why he's doing so well. So I don't necessarily think that he's the long-term answer, but I don't think you guys need to go drop a first-round pick on a quarterback. I think you guys can get someone in the second or third and let him kind of sit for a little while, and then and maybe just ride Kaep for the next year or two. And,
I think the Niners still get a quarterback in the first round. I think there's a really strong chance, considering that we are now toe-to-toe with Cleveland. There's a really good chance we pick that up. I mean, defense is obviously a gaping hole in the linebacker side, so I would not also be surprised. This could swing two ways, the way I see it, is they either go quarterback, if there's a really good quarterback available within the first two picks, if there's a good quarterback class that comes out this next year. I don't follow college and I don't care. But if it does happen to fall that way, then I would see them picking one, and Chip Kelly will obviously have a hand in that. If it doesn't, then Balky will definitely be going linebacker.
Yeah.
If that man still continues the red and gold.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I'd like to see maybe them drop number 2, who I've praised preseason that he would retain the starting position throughout the first half of the season, and that did hold true. My word does carry weight.
I think Gabbard is definitely the gift of Gab is no longer giving.
I think you let Gab go and you promote Christian Ponder to backup.
Yeah.
And then you put
you sign
more serviceable than
you
Gabbard.
sign an additional veteran quarterback.
the second one. All right, here we go. Moving on, gentlemen. Let's move over to the NFC West, where the Seahawks lost today. Yeah, kind of a little bit of a shocker. They kind of got shellacked. You know what do I always say, guys? West Coast team going east. Don't like it. Don't like
True.
it. 14-5. But am I the only one that isn't really worried still?
I'm not worried. I think it was. I was texting my buddy about this too. I think it's just a fluke. It was just a weird week. In Tampa, and I'll tell you right now, man. I've watched a couple of the games in Tampa Bay. I'm not a big fan of the Bucks, but I watched a couple of games when they're in Tampa Bay, and they play differently. And there's something about, I personally think it's something with the stadium or that field or something, but teams play differently on that field. It looks very shitty. Yeah, no, it's it looks like grass. At least it looks so shitty, and I feel like in Tampa Bay, it's constantly like either raining or it's like humidly wet. It's like always, whenever I'm watching a Tampa Bay game, it just looks gross. Like the field, like everything looks gross there. And so I feel like there's just something weird in that stadium where I think teams have a hard time or a weird time playing there. I mean, when the Rams played there, it was like a pure slugfest. Like it was like a shootout to the last minute, and both teams were kind of like playing sloppy at times. It was just really weird. So I think that, like, as much as I was shocked, I think it was a fluke. I think it was just a one-time thing. West Coast going east, and it's just that field is weird, I think, and I think that's the biggest case for it.
Yeah. Raymond, are you worried about the Seahawks at all? Do you agree? I still think they're the most poised to make a run because I trust their defense more than any other defense in the NFC right now.
Well, absolutely. Every other team in the NFC West has a losing record.
No, NFC in general. I'm talking even Cowboys.
I
I trust. For me, I'm always a defense guy. When defense wins championships, and time again, we see those defenses that make a big run. And right now, as much as I love the Cowboys, and in terms of what they're doing offensively, as much as I love them as Super Bowl favorites, I don't love the Cowboys. Let me rephrase that whole thing. They have what it takes to make a run. Seattle's defense is the thing that scares me the most, and why I feel like of the top four, if you were to say the top four right now are Dallas, Seattle, New England, and Oakland, I would say Seattle of the top four have the most potential to go all the way because they have the best defense. And defense wins.
I think so, because they have that playoff experience and they have the ability to turn it up within the playoffs. However, if there is a team that is poised to upset them this year, then I would put that money on the Cowboys.
Correct.
I don't think they're going to do it, but I think they got a good shot.
I'm so scared.
One more time.
How about them Cowboys?
I do like me some Jimmy Johnson.
I love me some Jimmy Johnson.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
There it is.
So I gotta say too, with Seattle, man, the thing that and again, and Rudy said it too, time and time again, defense comes through and defense wins championships, and I agree. And time again, I'm constantly proven wrong, because I feel like every year I'm like, yeah, but this offense, and then like it comes to the Super Bowl and they just get destroyed. Like Carolina last year, I was like, yeah, but Cam Newton, and then they just blasted them.
Remember when I walked to that Super Bowl party and I said Denver is winning?
Denver's gonna win, and we all were like, "No way, Carolina."
I was like, "No, put your money on it. They've got the number one defense.
Well,
I don't even need to know anything else."
I said Carolina, and then you were like, "Yeah." Meanwhile, you said the stat about the receivers, and I was like, "Oh, I want to change my pick." I didn't know that stat before I made my pick.
Yeah, their wide receiver one, which was Ted Ginn, and dropped 60% of his passes through the season. Yeah. You can't win a Super Bowl against the number one defense when your wide receiver one drops 60% of his passes. It was
impossible.
Who of the top four? Let's go into this. Our discussion changed. We're talking about top four. We've got New England, your beloved Oakland. This is going to be tough for you. Dallas, Seattle. I still say of the top four, Seattle is the most poised. How do you feel?
I think you need to blow it out your ass, Rudy. There's one thing that we know about the Seabirds this season is that they're not the Seahawks of the yesteryear and the yesteryear. All right? Russell, the Love Muscle Wilson, played shitty.
The Love Muscle.
He was disgusting.
That's his wrestling name, Russell the Love Muscle.
5 points is all he can help carry his team to a victory of losers.
Seattle's susceptible on the road. They're great at home. They won't have that advantage this year in the playoffs.
And that is why that's why Dallas. I think Dallas is going to take it just because of that. Seattle's not going to be at home in playoffs this year, and we saw what happened when they were on the road last year. They needed Blair Walsh to miss a field goal that no one would ever miss in their life. Like, they needed stuff to happen in that playoff game that shouldn't have happened. And then they went to Carolina and got smacked. Because they are very susceptible on the road, and I don't think – and, dude, if they don't have Michael Bennett back, or if he's still hobbled, that's huge. He's huge for their front four. They have no front four right now.
Yeah, and Seattle – I mean, here's the thing about last year, too. And we talked a little bit about this last year. We're getting a little off topic, but I'll move fast. Seattle had no business being there anyways. They had that no call against Detroit, and had that no call not happened, they wouldn't even have made it to the playoffs. And then there was another game. There was like 2 different games. I remember the Detroit no call, which drove me crazy. And then there was one other game that it's like they barely eked the win. Like it was like a really wonky win where it's like 2 different games that easily could have not gone their way and they wouldn't even have been in the playoffs. And then you have that missed field goal. I remember a buddy of mine, a diehard buddy of mine from Seattle, telling me the week before the playoffs started, he goes, we're the team no one wants to face right now. No one wants to face right now. And I thought, oh my, I promise you're not getting past the divisional round. And
I'm gonna say replace the Seattle Seabirds with another bird species.
Oh, you're gonna say Atlanta?
How about them
Yeah.
Dirty Bird Falcons?
Yeah, I agree. They're
I
hot.
don't know. I'm still not a believer in Atlanta. I mean, I think they're in a weak division. I mean, they're like a poor man's Dallas right now.
That's
They're like
fair.
a high-powered offense. They don't have much D. The thing about you're right, Michael Bennett being hobbled, and then you've got the Great Wall of Dallas Part 2 right now over there. I think you have a scenario where if Dallas and Seattle were to get into a shootout, then Dallas definitely can win that game. Dallas's defense is competent probably competent enough to possibly stop a Russell Wilson-led offense. That'll be interesting. Of the top four, old man Davis, you never answered the top four. Which one is your favorite?
I like the Dallas Cowboys all the way.
All the way, even over your Oakland Raiders?
I didn't say that. I said all the way to the bowl.
Oh, okay.
Who's taking the ball? Oh, silence.
Oh man.
No answer.
Death is silence.
Oh.
And
All
what's
right,
close
so-
to death is the Oakland Raiders.
Okay. We'll see. Let's lead into this right now because rolling into this side, Raiders are rolling, but there's only one undefeated team against the division in the AFC West, and that's those Kansas City Chiefs.
Sheesh.
How about them Chiefs, baby?
Hey, Alex, way to tough it out tonight. What a hell
Way
of
to
a game.
tough it out. And guess what? Of the two losses Oakland has suffered this year, one was to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
How about them Chiefs? Davis, what are you going to do next round against the Chiefs? When do you play the Chiefs? You play them December 8th in Kansas City.
Ooh.
Ouch.
There's no excuses other than just winning. Just win, baby. And that's what we're going
KC's
to do.
defense is on par with the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks.
This
Yeah,
last turn of the season is all road games.
Well,
And
I'm going to tell you what.
We're going to bring home the W's.
Louis, tell me if you agree with this. I feel like the dark horse in the NFC might be the New York Giants. I'm going to say Kansas City Chiefs might be the dark horse.
You know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pull a Kanye. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna let you finish. In a second. But I gotta say, I disagree.
Ooh.
I just watched that game. Trust me. So, dude, they looked good. Like they looked really good, bro. And I loved watching that. And they came back. They fought hard all game. Now, where I disagree on is that every season, especially the last 3 years, every season we had these discussions. Last year, what happened? What they win? They won like 11 straight at one point.
I know.
Like,
I know.
every year.
I've been saying
Yeah,
this on
you
the
know, we
podcast,
had this
too.
discussion. Every year they do the same thing. They're fire. They catch fire. They do so well. They do their thing. They go. They make the playoffs. Maybe they win the wild card and they do it, and then they go to the division. They fall on their face. They fall so hard on their face. Like in that, and I don't see any other scenario for them this year as well. Like, and Andy Reid is not going to win in the postseason for you. He can't. There's something in him where he can't win in the postseason.
He can only give you 16 games.
He can give you 16 regular season and kill it and make you think that you're going, and then he can't do anything past it.
God, you're right. And you know what? Raymond, haven't I said this for 3 weeks straight on the Goldcast? Haven't I said that exact conversation? I've been saying that exact conversation. And you know what? God, that's a good reminder because I was drinking the Kansas City Kool-Aid.
And you were drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. Because look, they just won a great game in Denver, so I understand why. Because even I started to drink it, and then I was like, no, but wait, they do this every single season, man. Every year we talk about it.
I think it depends who they're matched up against because their defense is really good. Their offense is kind of middle of the road. They're about as efficient as like maybe the Vikings or the Giants. Although they're the West Coast offense, run the ball, do play action pass. Although I like the way Chip Kelly's play action a little bit better. than Andy Reid, although Andy Reid is very polished in that regard. But he's just old. But Andy Reid is 11-11 in the postseason. That means there's a 50-50 shot. So it really depends who the matchup is, if they're at home, because we don't know who they're going to play in that first round. Is it going to be, if it's Houston Texans, I put my money on Kansas City because Houston has no offense and their defense is not as good as KC.
Oh, Houston's terrible.
If it's the Baltimore Ravens, you're in the same exact scenario. And if it's the Miami Dolphins, you're also in the same exact scenario. Although Miami's offense is slightly better than the former two teams I mentioned.
Well, that's my thing, is that I don't think that I have no question that they'll make it to the wild card. And honestly, I think they'll win the wild card because I think a lot of teams they're going to face in that first round are pretty weak. Houston is. I'm so happy they lost this week because Houston is the poorest excuse for a team with a winning record I've ever seen. They are
and I feel
terrible.
Every year for them, it's the same.
God, they're terrible, and they keep winning games, and it literally upsets me because they're so bad. Brock Osweiler cannot move the ball at all, and their defense is okay. Like, their defense is not making insane plays. They just somehow are always on the right side of, whatever call it is or whatever way the ball bounces. But I think KC does go to the wild card and probably wins it. But I think they're capped at the division because in the divisional they're either going to face New England, who again they won't beat. They lost to him last year.
Andy Reid's never going to beat Bill Belichick.
No way. And the way Oakland is finding ways to win, I think Oakland will handle KC. I'm excited to see that next week will be the huge deciding factor. But dude, Oakland is like that's where I watch teams that are going to win. 2 weeks. Okay, so 2 weeks. But like Oakland's finishing games, they're finishing they play really well, and at the end when they need it the most, when all the pressure's on them, they finish, and that is like such a hard thing to do in the league.
That's a good man.
You can do exactly.
That's a good man, Louis. That's a good man.
To see if the Raiders
want that
will
man back
stand up
on
to
next
the
week.
challenge and the pressure of the postseason.
What? Old man Davis? Hold on. Old man Davis, what'd you say?
Nope. Just other than Louis is a good man. Need that guy right back on next week. It's people like this man right here.
I got you.
That make your guys' words a horse shit bag. You know nothing about football until you hear this man.
You heard it here.
You heard it here first, Coldcast.
Yeah, you heard it. Also, I just realized too. I wanted to let everyone know, since we're talking about playoff picture and everything. Officially, the 49ers have been eliminated from the
playoffs. Yes.
Don't you yes us, Louis.
We knew that was
no
going to
Save that for the
start.
silver and black cat.
Don't act surprised.
Don't act surprised. God, it makes me so happy, man. Hey, Rudy, oh my God, I just remembered this. Hey, Goldcast fan, just so you guys know, Rudy and I have a little bet. Not to mention the many bets that we have going on this year. But on top of that, we have a side bet. We have one of many side bets going on that whoever takes last in the division has to make divisional hats saying last place and third place. So Rudy, you may want to look into getting hats cooked up.
I have to begin. So yeah, our bet was whoever got last place had to buy division round hats for each team. So mine would have to say 49ers,
fourth place,
last place. And then Louis would say Los Angeles Rams.
Oh man,
The Rams are one loss away from going right to Fisher's sweet spot. After he said,
man.
"I'm not going 8-8 this year. I'm not going 7-9."
It's like you're right. You're going under. Now,
You're going 6-10.
So now, okay, let's go back to the Rams really fast. Go for like a minute here. We only got about 5 minutes left, guys. So, but going back to the Rams, real quick, jumping back to the Rams. Now you bring Goff in. He's kind of going up and down. Played a little bit better this week. Here's the big question, though: what the hell do you do next year? What do you do? Because you have no draft picks. What do you do?
So I'll say a quick comment on Goff right now. Honestly, I'm taking what happened today with just a bit of salt because they were in a dome in New Orleans against the Saints, which I knew was going to be a shootout. That's a very safe space for a quarterback, is in the dome against the Saints defense. Like, I knew Goff was going to come out. I was going to be shocked if Goff didn't do a lot, and he killed it. I think he had a great performance. I think he looked comfortable, which is I'm excited to see. But I don't think that Goff's going to start coming out and doing 3 touchdown performances the rest of the year. That was just a kind of random thing in the dome. I think against other teams it'll be a little different. So I don't want to get, like, next week you go to New England. Like, we're going to get annihilated. I'm not going to judge anything on Goff next week because that's just terrible. But next, but I liked what I saw. He looked confident in the pocket. I thought that he looked poised. I'm excited to see what he can do. I think that people hated on him super quick without giving him too much of a chance, just because he wasn't necessarily ready. I like him. I'm excited, but I'm not excited for next year, because next year we're going to be the exact same thing. We're going to look next year the way we do this year, because, like you just said, we have no draft picks. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to look the exact same. Like, I don't think we're going to get worse, because we just can't.
What about
get
salary
any worse.
cap? What do you get? Do you guys have money to spend?
Not a lot. I think we're about middle, just in the middle, kind of in the middle of the pack. But we've never been big free agent spenders anyway. Our biggest addition the last 5 years was Kenny Britt. Like, Kenny Britt was like the water. Like, that's what caused ripples. Like, that was, oh my God, that's caused waves, was Kenny Britt. Like, come on. Like, so we've never been big into free agency. I don't think we're going to start. I mean, maybe we can get someone next year because it's Los Angeles, but we're pretty much going to stay the same as we are this year. We're going to be another middle of the pack. I think in 2 years, the following season, we're looking 2018 is where I'm looking for the Rams.
2018. Jeff Fisher's 40th year. That's when we'll
40th year of 6-10 is when we'll really step it up. Yeah.
An NFL league record.
The most 10 lost seasons ever.
Yeah, the most 500 seasons of any of all time. Second to last, playoff predictions. Raymond, let us know where we're at. We'll give Louie a chance to catch up. But Ray, let us know where we're at in the playoff predictions very quickly. We've got a couple minutes here.
Okay, so playoff, Louie, you haven't been here, but we have gone about 3 teams deep, both AFC and NFC. Old Man Davis so far has, in the AFC column, he has Oakland, New England, and Pittsburgh. In his NFC column, he has selected Dallas, Seattle, and Atlanta. Rudy has picked in the AFC column New England, Baltimore, and Oakland. And in his NFC column, he's picked Dallas, Atlanta, and Seattle. And in my column, starting with the AFC, I have New England, Kansas City, and Oakland. And on NFC, I have Dallas, Seattle, and New York. So pretty similar across the board, albeit 1 or 2 teams here and there. But we'd like to get you caught up to speed here so you can join the fray, because playoff prediction is always very fun. So why don't we first start off with your NFC picks?
So my NFC picks, I mean, the lock is obviously Dallas. Hard to say. I'm going to say Dallas, Seattle, and I'm going to throw one in here that no one said. I'm going to say Dallas, Seattle, and Detroit.
Ooh.
I think Detroit's a lock for playoffs. I'm saying it right now. They're a lock. I'm saying it right now. They're a lock for playoffs. Yeah.
Now,
I think so. Minnesota is melting. Green Bay's not in it, and Chicago's terrible.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And dude, they're literally on this magical run. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, it's gonna fall out soon." It's yet to fall out. They've all 11 games. They've trailed in the fourth quarter, and they've won 7 of those 11. That's not gonna change next week. Like, that's not gonna really change. They play the Saints next week. Like that number is not gonna get different. Like, Matthew Stafford's not gonna all of a sudden stop doing that. Like, I don't. People are saying it's going to fall out. I don't think it will. I think Detroit's a lock.
Their defense has played a lot better in the second half of the season. And oddly enough, the retirement of Megatron has really allowed the offense to flourish more.
Yeah.
In the receiving end, I like Matthew Stafford. I think he's good. He's kind of a gunslinger. He's got a little bit of that Brett Favre in him. He's got a great arm. He's pretty good decision maker. And they've got a good running game, a decent running game over there. So, and like I said, Minnesota's kind of having a meltdown since starting off hot. Green Bay hasn't been in it all season, and Chicago is up there with, or I should say, down there with us and Cleveland.
But I told Louis that was a team I never drank the Kool-Aid on. Was Minnesota. I had.
So you said Dallas. Who else? And Detroit.
Dallas, Seattle, and Detroit.
All right, and then now for AFC.
AFC, New England. I'm not gonna get crazy. New England for sure. Oakland for sure. And then the third one's tough, man. The third one's really tough, but oh man, I'm gonna get wild. It's got to be KC. I'm gonna say New England, Oakland, and KC. I didn't get wild. I was gonna say someone else, but that's that for me in New England, Oakland, and KC.
Boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Old Man Davis, add your fourth picks to your playoff predictions. Who's going in? So far, you've got New England, Oakland, and Oakland. Right, Ray? Does Ray? He doesn't have a third pick for last year. If I remember correctly, Old Man Davis picked Oakland 2 weeks in a row.
He's got Oakland, New England, and Pittsburgh.
Oh, he did say Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, wow.
I'm sure he would love to have Oakland in there twice. You did say Oakland twice, but you picked Pittsburgh. But in reality, you would love Oakland to have 2 playoff spots.
Thank you, Ray, for the clarification. That was well done. I'm just going to say it's an update version 2.1. Oakland, and Oakland are my picks. But we're going to go this week with the AFC Houston Texans.
Houston Texans.
Houston.
They have nothing.
Texans.
They have nothing to
but
offer the playoffs.
Other than a speed bump.
Correct.
There's nothing better than seeing a beanstalk Brock Osweiler try to win his career back for the Houston fans.
Oh man, God, that just had bad idea written all over it. NFC, who do you got?
NFC. I can't help it. Louis right. The Detroit Lions. They're going.
Bam.
I like the schedule, the remainder of the season, and there's nothing else to say about that. We're talking about playoff picture. We're not talking about who wins in the playoffs. Detroit is in.
Just a picture. Yep.
Yeah, just a picture. Raymond, who do you got?
On the AFC side, I'm going to go ahead. God, the AFC North and South are just kind of a toss-up with mediocre teams. I do think I'm going to add the Ravens into that mix.
Yeah.
Even though I would love to just side with Pittsburgh, however, if they continue on their current trajectory tied, Baltimore's going to get it because they're undefeated against their division.
Right.
So on that, I'm going to say Baltimore. So Baltimore, and then on the NFC side, I was going to, I definitely. Let's see. We got the Giants, we got Dallas, and we have Seattle. I'm going to add Detroit, but right now I'm going to also slightly go a different route here, and I'm going to put Atlanta into the mix. They are the New Orleans Saints of, 2010?
Oh, yeah.
2011. The only difference is they don't have as good of a defense, but they've got enough to win most of their games in shootouts until they run into the defenses of the postseason. But they'll get there.
All right, and then for me, AFC, I'm gonna go. I've got the top three. I still think, God, the South is such a shit show. But I'm still not ready to commit to anyone there. I'm gonna say the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna definitely get one of those wild card slots. So put the Chiefs in for me. That's 2 for the AFC West. I still haven't picked anyone from the South yet. For the NFC, I'm gonna go wild card again. I think I'm not. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go wild card on this because I like kind of jumping out on limbs early. Dallas, Seattle. And I said Dallas, Seattle, Atlanta, and I'm going to throw in the New York Giants on my wild card.
Yeah, they've been playing good defense lately. And they've got the best record out of the remaining teams outside of Dallas.
Yep, there it is. So Louis, who is your 4th addition?
It's tough, man. The AFC is actually a lot tighter than I thought record-wise. Holy cow. The AFC West is amazing. I think the AFC South I have no idea about, bro. For my AFC, man, I got to say KC, the way that they played tonight. Miami's close for me right now, but I got to say KC.
They're killing it, too.
They are.
Okay, so who are your 3 teams coming out of the AFC?
So I got New England, Oakland. Oh, wow. No, Kansas City was actually my 3rd one already. My bad. Okay, So New England, Oakland, KC, and then I'll take Miami as my 4th, actually.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, Miami is my 4th. That's tough, dude.
For the NFC, who do you got on the
NFC, I gotta go Giants too, man. They're playing really good football at a perfect time to play really good football. And like Ray said, their defense has stepped up huge, man.
Yeah, well, New York's my dark horse. They're my NFC dark horse.
And people. That's the thing. The NFC East is close too. People are sleeping on Washington, man. Washington looks good too.
Yeah.
Besides, they barely. I mean, they put Dallas through. They put Dallas through a fight, man.
Well, that's the thing. If this comes out, because Arizona's out of it, the Rams are out of it, and then on the other side, the Bucks are not as good as the Redskins, in my opinion.
I agree.
And then outside of that, you've got the Vikings, who are also not as good as Washington. So there's a really strong chance that the Redskins can eke out that other wild card position here.
I agree.
And knock
3
off
from
the
the
other
NFC
ones.
East and 3 from the AFC West.
Yeah, and if there's any team that can also potentially derail Dallas in the postseason, it is the New York Giants. They do know that team very well, despite their new and improved offense.
Yep.
Oh, and their defense. I think their defense would be able to handle it. Yeah, I agree.
It will be interesting. We'll see how close we look. Moving on to our final segment of the evening. It's all about that money.
That cream.
That cabbage.
That green.
That celery.
That relish.
That broccoli.
That cheese.
The doubloons.
Shamrock.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And that Christmas pine.
Them leaves.
Them presidents.
Kermit the Frog.
Stacks.
Greenbacks.
Bundles.
Leaves.
Rubber band stacks.
Let's get that cash.
Spring mix.
What'd you say?
St. Patty's Day.
My organic spring mix. I use
Shamrock milkshakes.
Now we just lost it. Now it's just gone.
Now it's over. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's guess the lines real quick, and then we got to get out of here. Raymond, if you were to take a guess, San Francisco at Chicago, what is the lines? This is a team that's only won one more game than us. What do you think the Vegas line is for this?
Gosh, I'm gonna say.
Quickly.
There's a good chance that we are favored in this game.
By how much?
I would say a touchdown or less. Okay.
Ray says favored by. So say less. I'll say Ray says Niners favored by 6. Louis, what would you say? If you had to guess? What do you think the line is for Chicago and San Francisco? San Francisco's traveling to Chicago.
Right now, actually, I have the line. The line is.
Oh, don't say it then. If you have it, don't.
Oh,
say
okay.
it.
I didn't say it.
Don't say it.
It's actually it's not what I would have said. I would have guessed. My guess would have been that the Niners would actually. My guess would be that the Bears would be favored by probably 3. That would be my guess, but not, and it's not. But that's what I would guess.
Oh man, Davis, what's your guess?
6.
6. Now I have them on sportsbook. Now Louis, you said something different. I have them favored. I have Chicago favored by 3. That's what I have. That's exactly what I have.
Is that what -3 means?
Yep.
It's okay. Then yeah. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. The over.
They're favored even though they've only forced 178 points this year. Niners have forced 228. We've scored 26 touchdowns this year to Chicago's 20. That's 6 more touchdowns than them, 8 more than LA, who has 3 more wins than us. Interesting.
We have to bring that up. I think a lot. San Francisco is also going to Chicago at 10 a.m. for a 10 a.m. game. I think that's part of it.
They did that last year and beat them in overtime.
That's true.
They
So
did.
here's the question, Raymond. Do you take that bet?
No way. You take 9. This is okay. So I know that this is the game. Something's got to give. It almost gave today. It almost did. 2 weeks. It's almost given. So I think this is. I should say. I'm sorry. Not 2 weeks, because last week they got blown out, but because they only played half a game. But the 2 out of the last 3 weeks, they've gotten really close to pulling it out in the fourth quarter. This is the team that does it because their offense is worse than ours. Their defense is marginally better, but not really by much. So I'm going to take this, and they also have a losing record at home, just like we do. So and we had their number last year, and they're even worse than they were last year. So I'm going to say you take the Niners by 7 this time.
Wow.
Niners by 7.
This is it.
This is the one,
Davis,
huh?
do you take that bet?
I advise walk away, move out of the country, because that bet is probably a bad idea. You want to go with Chicago, you go with the 3 points. I said 6. I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago does win by 6. This is not the game that the 49ers win, number 2.
I had them winning against Miami. Had Antoine Bethea been in his position, they would have won.
I like a Matt Barkley. Number 3, number 4 down the totem pole for the Chicago Bears. They might bring back Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah, not going to happen.
Yeah,
Louis, do
maybe.
you take that bet?
It's going to stay in.
No, I agree with OMD. You run it far away from this. Not because I think that the Niners are going to pull it off, but just because this game is 2 pretty shitty teams, and you just have no idea who's going to get the upper hand at some points. Matt Barkley versus Colin Kaepernick, no, with no Alshon Jeffrey, no, I'm running away from that bet.
Exactly. He's there. Not only do they not have Jay Cutler, but they have a backup without their best passing weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 49ers pull off the upset too.
And Cap is been hitting his stride.
All right, here we go. Raymond, where can they find this?
You can like us on Facebook.com/49ers Goldcast. You can also follow us on Twitter at 49ers Goldcast. You can also subscribe to us via iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. Subscribe guarantees you will be notified when we go live to the public every week.
Raymond, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ray Solis.
Louis, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at actuallylouisb.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Rudy Solis 3rd, Rudy Solis 3RD. Old Man Davis, where can they find you?
You can find me on Wikipedia, Al Davis. Also search Oakland Raiders.
There it is.
Boom.
So concludes another edition of the 49er Goldcast. We are the voice of the faithful. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Salisa first, baby.
and our Los Angeles co-host,
Louis B.
and our esteemed co-host,
Old Man Davis.
Boom! We'll see you next time. Stay tuned.